pilots. It's something that I find a lot, especially in new Apache pilots and people that I try to help out, is that a lot of the time they'll get in a hover and then they'll want to turn. What will happen is they'll get up in a hover and then they'll be relatively okay, and then they turn, they're like, why ain't I turning? And all of a sudden they break through the heading hold and they start turning. You've got to, especially when in a hover, you've got to learn how to work with the heading hold, not against it. Because what you'll find is that the heading hold will keep you on a heading. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like currently, heading hold is active and it's trying to keep us sort of in line with the runway. So what I'm going to do now is there's two ways you can turn. You can either break out, but expect the breakout, or you can hold force trim and do it all yourself. Holding force trim and doing it yourself is a bit harder because you've no longer got the SAS helping you with the cyclic. But it does mean that you're able to control the pedals a bit easier. So I'm going to do a left-hand pedal turn. It's going to increase my torque, and you'll see I need to work the breakout value. So I'm moving left, still in that breakout, and there we go, breakout. Now I'm turning. And I want to stop here. So I'm going to use counter pressure on my pedals. And then I'm going to press the trim. Now I press the trim. This is the new reference for the heading hold. So now we're going 270. And it's just going to do its best to keep me there. And the second way is going to be using the force trim. So now if I hold force trim, it's going to center the SAS sleeves to the center. And you'll see that in the top left there, the controls indicator. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be a lot worse at hovering first. But also it's going to be easier for me to turn gently. So, gonna hold force trim, still keeping this heading. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to want to do a left hand turn, very slow. Say I want to stop here, I can stop pretty smoothly. And I can come left more. Let's say I want to go to 090. So we're going to keep coming around. You've got to work that cyclic a lot more because you haven't got the SAS helping you. Coming around, starting to slow. Coming around to the heading I want. Oh, it's time to get into PIO. Let's control that, and there's 90. Release. The entire time I was holding the force trim. Now I've released the force trim. The force trim now has, the heading hold I should say, has a new center. It's a new reference to where it wants me to put, I want it to put the aircraft. So that's something that's really important as well, is that the system doesn't know what's in your head. It doesn't know what you're trying to do. So it's just going to try its best. If you update the force trim, it then knows where you want it to go. So that's one of the main things as well I see is people not using the trim enough. Yeah, this time I'll do a left-hand turn with the heading hold on. So I'm going to start turning left, break out of that. Coming right. I want to stop on the runway heading, so I'm slowing it down. Trim. New reference for the heading hold. Stabilize out a bit. And now we're here. Now I'll do a right-hand turn with the force trim applied. So I'll just get back into a hover. Okay. So force trim on. Slight brake pedal. Pressure and counter pressure on the pedals to make it smooth. Going around, and we're going to stop on the reciprocal of the runway heading. So coming around, going to be really careful with my counter pressure. And there. So there's different reasons why you'd use both. Personally, I like to use a mix. If I'm sort of surrounded by trees and stuff, it's most likely I'm going to be using the heading hold, because then I've still got the SAS helping me out on the collective cyclic, sorry. But if I'm in an area like this, I'm just gonna hold force trim, move the aircraft on, 'cause you can do a lot faster return without really worrying, and then update the heading hold. Heading hold's gonna fight a bit, and then it's gonna stabilize. Yep, that's just a little thing on heading hold that I've seen. Oh, I may as well mention. The heading hold is active in forward flight. Up until about 50 knots, it will stay active. So if you look on the top left, heading hold is active, it's doing the work to try and keep me down this runway, and got to about 50 knots and is disengaged. If we use a attitude hold, so if I trim, then the heading holds just come on because it's also active when the attitude hold is on. That's all I can really think about the heading hold. So yeah.